everybody. This is Health Wave, and this is Dr. Renee. And
I'm Dr. Bret.
Today we're going to talk about how to treat those coughs and colds. So, Dr. Bret, can you tell parents to do when their child suddenly comes down with a fever, a cough, a sore throat, a runny nose? Sometimes they may have a little bit of congestion, or they may even have some eye drainage. What is your advice right now?
There's lots of things you can do for coughs and colds and flus at home. First thing we want to talk about maybe is the flu vaccine. Try and get your flu vaccine now if you haven't gotten it already. We didn't have a lot of colds and flus last year because we were all hibernating and protecting ourselves and staying away from COVID. One of the first concerns, of course, that parents have is this COVID. And do we need to get a test for that? So there are different aspects of that and different things. Most kids do extraordinarily well with COVID, have mild symptoms, get better on their own. But if they're going to school, if they're in a daycare, anything like that, then they probably need a COVID test in order to go back. If you have anyone in the household who's at high risk of having symptoms or severe reactions with COVID, of course, you probably want to get the child tested to know that and to watch out for further symptoms in other people. And COVID tests can be found through your local health department. They have lots of resources throughout the country of places to get COVID tests, urgent cares.
Even your local pharmacy. CVS, Rite Aid are selling individual COVID testing that you can get.
I don't know do you know how old those are approved down to? I don't know, like if you have a 3-year-old, are those approved? I don't know if the home testings are approved yet for those ages. So
I don't know.
Anyway,
check on that. We'll check
that
on
would be a good thing to check on. Make sure that you get a COVID test that's right for the age of your child.
Let's kind of take it symptom by symptom. The child really has a bad cough. Are there some things that you might start doing at home right away that could help a cough?
There are lots of things. The first thing, of course, for any of the symptoms is to stay hydrated. Lots of fluids, clear fluids. Stay away from fruit juices and stay away from dairy. Get lots of water. Some teas are good. Coughs respond really well to honey and lemon. It's a lot of honey. The studies that were done were on with lots of honey, like a tablespoon of honey and a cup of water. Dissolve them with some lemon really helps that go down. There are lots of other things that can help a cough. Some vapors.
Good rub that put on your chest, which gives you that menthol and camphor, which often see kind of is going up into your nose. That also tends to clear your nose.
Eucalyptus is good. That's another good scent.
What about cough drops? Can parents give their kids cough drops?
You don't want to use cough drops when they're really young. They can be a choking hazard for kids, especially under the age of about 3. So that if your child has any trouble choking, even a 4-year-old, be careful with cough drops. They can be really helpful. I really like the zinc cough drops. They're more of a sore throat drop, really, but the zinc has actually been helpful in getting kids through their illnesses quicker. So upper respiratory infections, sore throats, and things a lot quicker with that. Warm, moist air. Make sure the air isn't really dry. We don't want their lungs to dry out and cause more, or their throat to dry out. There are lots of sore throat kinds of things you can do to help the sore throat too. Slippery elm, and there's the zinc lozenges, like I said. There's oregano oil for the older kids. You will not get young kids to take oregano oil. It's very potent, it's very strong. That's one of my favorite things I've learned to take as soon as I get any symptoms of a cough or cold. Some really strong oregano oil in the back of the throat, just kind of swish it around and swallow it. It burns a little bit. It makes you smell pretty strong, but it really does the trick. It's actually a viricide, so it kills off viruses. It's got some antibacterial properties as well. So it can be really, really wonderful to help prevent that from getting worse.
I think something that parents would find that their children would take much easier is really just elderberry. So elderberry is a great treatment for kids. It tastes really good. I think there's a big misconception from a lot of our parents that elderberry should be taken as a preventative. Like right now it's cough and flu time. They should actually start taking that ahead of time and kind of taking it every day. But it actually works best at the first signs or symptoms of a cough. You feel like you have a little scratchy throat, you're really got a little runny nose. That's a good time probably to start the elderberry. Most kids find that it tastes delicious. There are wonderful kinds that are available right at the drugstore. And so it's a great thing to have in your
cabinet, your medicine cabinet.
Yeah, in your medicine cabinet as just ready for the season. So if you start buying some of this stuff, that's great. I try to have a rule about when talking about cough drops, try and not let kids go to sleep with a cough drop in their mouth, like in bed. If they're going to take a cough drop, it's better for them to take it while they're up and awake and sitting. We don't want them running around with a cough drop either. And I think the other thing is that they can take their honey and lemon actually and just warm or room temperature, what you want to do is really kind of avoid a lot of cold things. So from an Ayurvedic perspective, cold foods and fluids are not good for colds, coughs and colds. Things that are warm are much more soothing, help, and keeping yourself hydrated keeps the mucus liquid so that the child can cough it up so that they're not getting really congested and not getting down there. So having some warm or room temperature water with some of those, with the lemon juice and maybe a little bit of honey in it, they're sipping throughout the morning or throughout the day is usually really good.
It's got some good documentation with it too. Some good studies have been done. For the elderberry, the studies are dosing it about 3 or 4 times a day, getting about 2 grams of equivalent. So usually you get an extract, so it's a concentrated formula of the elderberry, and that works really well. Some people will use it preventively once a day. Don't use it any more than that. It's really meant to be, like you said, a treatment once you do start getting sick. And the same with Echinacea. A lot of people use Echinacea flower for colds and flus, and that's okay in the older kids to use that. It really shouldn't be used in younger kids. And again, it's treatment. It's not a preventative. It's really meant only when you get sick. While we're on these topics, like kind of like herbals, is which is another herbal. It's the pelargonium flower or root actually of it. It's a geranium from South Africa. It actually is very well respected for coughs and colds as well. And you can find that in a good tasting syrup, even at the Rite Aids and CVS pharmacies can help.
What other supplements might be good? I mean, you talked a little bit about zinc lozenges, which seem to be really good. And
Right.
there were zinc things to put up your nose and stuff for help taking care of colds and making them shorter. But what about other things that they might take to be sure that they have on board once they're getting sick?
Vitamin C is probably really very important. Not any of us are probably vitamin C deficient, but when you get a cough or cold or any kind of illness, you burn up your vitamin C very quickly and it doesn't stay with you in your body since it's water soluble, you just pee it out. So extra vitamin C when you're sick can be really helpful in supporting your own immune system to really work at its optimum. So get lots of vitamin C. You can't really overdose in the short term on vitamin C. So go ahead and take those large amounts of vitamin C. I'll get it through Airborne or through some of the other kinds of little supplements. I'll just sip on that all day long, so I get some vitamin C on board all day. Vitamin D is another important one. If it's wintertime, you're not getting your sunshine, or if you're not taking any supplements of vitamin D, cranking that up a little bit can really help and support your immune system as well. So zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D, those are really important.
I think we let everybody know that if they come into our office,
Yes.
we want to be sure that they're going into a healthcare provider if they're going to take more supplements than normal, or if they're going to take any essential oils, so we can customize the amount of herbal supplements that they want to take down to the appropriate age. And also, still have to remember, even when you're taking herbal supplements, that they can interact with other medications that the child or a family member might be on. So you want to be sure they're doing that. And I just want to talk a minute about how important things like sleep are. One of the things that happens with a cough and cold and sore throat, especially if you got a child that's coughing all night, is their sleep gets disruptive. They disrupt everybody else in the house's
Right.
sleep. And so it can be really a problem. I think when we're talking about keeping a humidifier in the room or something that's keeping the air, even just keeping a pot of water by the bed will actually increase the humidity in the room, is very helpful. So keeping the humidity is good. I think if they're really having trouble falling asleep and stuff, trying to get their throat soothed before they fall asleep. Some of the Ayurvedic approaches to this to help with sleep and also kind of to detox the body is to have a warm tea before they go to bed, to stay in warm clothing, put a warm blanket on. You want them to sweat at night, but not profusely sweat. You don't want them just pouring sweat, but
Not drenched.
but feeling warm and maybe a little bit on the almost too warm side, making sure that that's there. And I think for diet, it's really important that I think we've already talked a little bit about decreasing the dairy. Dairy produces more phlegm, which makes it hard. It's also hard to digest dairy. And right now, when you've got a cold, you want to have light foods that are warm and comforting. Very simple soups, things like bone broth are excellent. They're light and easy to digest. Really avoiding things like meat, heavy food, meats, nuts, breads, pastries, lots of candy, and lots of sweet fruit juices. We don't want any of that kind of stuff. Really, not a lot of highly processed foods.
Well, like grandma said, the chicken noodle soup with vegetables and
Right.
light broth and things like that. It's really,
Tell me what your thought is on Tylenol and ibuprofen. What are we talking
there's a
about?
place for those, certainly. If there's a high fever or the child's really uncomfortable, again, getting that sleep's really important. It can help kind of take away some of the discomfort, take down the fever a little bit. But a little bit of fever is actually really helpful. It's the body's natural response to an illness. So a fever of 100, 101, let it ride if you can. If they're 103, you probably want to give them some Advil or ibuprofen
Yeah.
or some Tylenol. Lots of fluids again. Make sure that they're allowed to sweat. That's okay. Again, it's a natural process to help cleanse the body. It helps the immune system to get stimulated and get going, and help it to function better. So it's certainly treated if it's a problem. The child's cranky, and of course, if the baby's or your child is having a bad ear pain, come and get seen. A really bad sore throat, and can't swallow. Those kinds of things need to be seen. We don't want to wait on a strep throat or an ear infection or those kinds of things. There's lots of things we can help and do with those, but make sure you get seen and get diagnosed, and we can work through those together.
So, you're talking a little bit about the sore throat. There are also things that might think a child might do that, like gargles. So things like
Yeah, there's some
turmeric
good
and
gargles.
salt can gargle. There's some other things, herbs that can be used as gargles that
Sage
can
is a
really
good
help with
one.
sore.
You're cooking sage,
Right.
make a gargle out of that and have them swish and swallow, or not swish it, not swallow it, sorry,
Yes.
but swish it
Spit
around
it
and
out.
spit it out. That can be really, really good for the sore throat. Slippery elm is really good for sore throat. And you'll find some teas and things from some of the stores that have like throat coat and stuff that have some of these things in them,
Right.
eucalyptus and slippery elm and things like that. So you can find them already formulated at the store to get some teas going for those, even the younger kids. Sipping on some of that can really be beneficial.
I just want to say that a lot of the herbal supplements also are the same for both Ayurveda and our Chinese medicine that we have. The
Okay.
difference is often the Chinese medicine. If you come into our office and see our Chinese medicine specialist, I think that they are going to give you a what's called a decoction. So it'll be a mix of herbs. They very rarely give a single herb for anything. Everything is a mixture of things based specifically on the symptoms. Chinese medicine really focuses on individualized care. It's really based on each child's symptoms at that time, and they start out with a decoction, and then a couple of days later, you'll go back in, get rechecked, and then that probably will change over time because your symptoms have changed. So I think that those are things that if you're not getting better with just your home remedies and things that you started, you want to come back in because you might want something that's a little stronger. We might offer some other options that you haven't thought of. So I think that those are all really important ideas.
Trouble breathing, or again, like we said before, the ears are really painful, baby can't sleep, sore throat, they can't swallow. Those kinds of things get
Then you come
seen,
in.
come on in. Or if it's just going on for a long time, if it's going on beyond a week, most colds and flus last 4 or 5 days and then they're done. Fevers for more than 3 days, come see us.
Right.
Those kinds of things. And of course, don't spread it to others. So we didn't talk about that, but we've been doing lots of good hand washing, masking, staying away from others. That really worked. And last year we had such a very mild cold and flu season, almost
Plus none,
non-existent.
non-existent.
Yeah. So the method works. So keep at it, do the good hand washing, isolate, the quarantine the person away that's
Right.
sick, especially those school age kids that come with, just a mild cold can get the young ones sick really, really bad for a week. It tends to
Right.
be really mild in the school age ones.
I think that's a great way to end. I think that we don't want to forget those common sense things, just washing your hands, drinking a lot of food,
Right.
wearing a mask, isolating the children that are sick so that everybody doesn't spread to everybody in the family, and just getting enough sleep, taking care of yourself, getting exercise,
So
and eating well during this
you can get some
time.
vitamin D
Great.
out in the sunshine and get out in nature if you can.
Great. Well,
Absolutely
thank you
good
so
ideas.
much, everybody,
It's
for
great
joining
chatting
us
with
on the
you.
Health Wave.
May you have a healthy cold and flu season.
Great.